Good to have you with us tonight, folks. Thanks for watching. Mitt Romney's Bain problem is officially too big for him to ignore. The candidate made the rounds on 5 television networks to explain why he was listed as CEO, president, chairman, and sole shareholder of Bain Capital for 3 years after he says he left. Romney stuck to his guns in an interview with NBC's Peter Alexander.
In February of 1999, I left Bain Capital and left all management authority and responsibility for the firm. I had no ongoing activity or involvement in the affairs of Bain Capital because I went out to run the Olympics. The president's campaign has been I think, outrageous in making the kind of charges they have. I think the kinds of attacks are beneath the dignity of the presidency. I think the president needs to rein in his campaign and start talking about the real issues people care about.
That Mitt Romney's story, and he's sticking to it. Even though SEC filings like this one from January of 2000 clearly show Mitt Romney's signature on the Bain paperwork. This document relates to a deal with VMM Merger Corporation. Well, President Obama told a reporter in Virginia the buck stops with Mitt Romney when it comes to Bain.
Most Americans figure if you're the chairman, CEO, and president of a company that you are responsible for what that company does. Ultimately, Mr. Romney, I think, is going to have to answer those questions because if he aspires to being president, one of the things you'll learn is you're ultimately responsible for the conduct of your operations.
But Romney continues to insist that he had no involvement with Bain after 1999, other than collecting a 6-figure salary each year.
After February of 1999, you never attended a single meeting for Bain, a business meeting, even by phone attending a meeting regarding Bain or Bain-controlled entities.
You've asked quite a few questions there, so let's go through. I didn't involve myself in any way with Bain Capital's enterprise after February of 1999.
Not participating in a single meeting, either in person or by phone?
I don't recall a single meeting or single participation in an investment decision by Bain or personnel decision.
The word here is recall. Really? No business trips, no phone calls, nothing. This is Romney's own sworn testimony in Massachusetts when he was running for governor. There were a number of social trips and business trips that brought me back to Massachusetts, board meetings, Thanksgiving, and so forth. I returned from most of those meetings. Others I attended by telephone if I could not return. That sworn testimony simply does not match up with the interviews that the candidate gave today to 5 different networks. President Bill Clinton was on the Today Show this morning. Clinton said Romney's business background is central to Romney's campaign.
All your work life before you run for president is relevant, and I think that will be relevant. I mean, I'm a little surprised that he only released a year's worth of tax returns. That's kind of perplexed me because this is the first time in, I don't know, more than 30 years that anybody running for president has only done that.
But Romney remained defiant on his tax returns today. He does not plan to release any more after the 2011 returns are completed.
I've put out as much as we're going to put out once I've added this year, and that's the information. It gives people more information than is required by law.
Why not be as open when you're running for president as you were 4 years ago when you were being considered for vice president?
Well, I'm just not going to be able to satisfy all the demands of the Obama campaign.
This is a key point. Romney doesn't need to satisfy the Obama campaign. Romney doesn't need to satisfy anybody other than the American people. We want to know. Now, we need to know what kind of economic model Mitt Romney would design for this country. What does he really believe in? Your personal finances, Mr. Romney, would help us understand all of that, especially if you have so much money invested overseas. But according to Romney, today, only less than 1% of his money is tied up in foreign investments.
The money that I have is managed by a blind trust. Now, you understand that. I hope your reporting will point that out. I don't manage the money that I have. In order to make sure that I didn't have a conflict of interest while I was governor or while I was considering a run for national office, I had a blind trust established.
That applies to the Caymans, Bermuda, and the Swiss bank accounts reported?
It applies to all the investments made by me. From what I've seen now in the financial disclosure statements, which now for the first time show me what the investments have been, the overwhelming majority, I mean like 99.5% of my investments are in U.S. enterprises.
Whoa, hold it a minute. Mitt Romney says 99.5% of his money is in American investments. The Vanity Fair report about Romney's offshore finances says Romney has at least $30 million in the Cayman Islands. $30 million is the conservative estimate of Mitt Romney's entire foreign investment portfolio. According to Mitt Romney, that's only 0.5% of his net worth. If this is true, Mitt Romney is worth somewhere in the neighborhood of $6 billion. Well, maybe Mitt Romney wants to rethink his answer. Either he is overstating the amount of his American investments, or he is the $6 billion man. Now, Romney could solve all of this mystery if he would release multiple years of tax returns and be honest with the American people about his finances. That's the bottom line. But here's the key in all of this for us as voters and those who are going to render judgment in November. We do care about this. We care about this, especially as liberals, because of the scrutiny that President Obama went through in the campaign in 2008. Asking a man about his finances, or any candidate about his or her finances, is standard operating procedure. Americans, voters, we deserve to know. Get your cell phones out. I want to know what you think. Tonight's question: will Mitt Romney ever come clean about his finances? Text A for yes, text B for no to 622-639. You can always go to our blog at ed.msnbc.com. We'll bring you the results later on in the show. Americans do care about this story. This is why Mitt Romney went in front of 5 television cameras today. It's in the Twitter world. It's in the blogs field. It's on every show, blogosphere. It's on every show. People are talking about it all over talk radio. So Americans do care about this. Let's bring in Michael Steele, MSNBC contributor and former RNC chairman, and Eugene Robinson, MSNBC political analyst and associate editor and Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist for The Washington Post. Eugene, I want to ask you first, if I may, tonight, as a journalist, did Mitt Romney close any doors today to this story, or does it continue on?
I didn't hear any doors close. What I heard was him being very precise in his language and talking about, I didn't participate in the Bain enterprise. I don't know what that means. I don't recall a single investment decision. I don't know exactly what that means, but I think he's slicing the onion awfully thin, and being very, very specific about what he's ruling out when he when he tries to leave the impression that he left Bain. I think the common sense question is, why on earth would you sign your name to forms to the SEC saying you were CEO and managing director and everything else of this company if you didn't know anything about it? If you weren't actually responsible and willing to take responsibility for what the company was doing, that would be a very unwise thing to do. And I think Mitt Romney is more meticulous than that. So this still doesn't square for me.
Well, the White House says tonight that they are not satisfied with Mitt Romney's answers today. They say that they still want to see more tax returns and minutes from Romney's meetings at Bain Capital. Michael Steele, your thoughts? Did he close any doors today, or is it more complicated?
Well, it's a little bit more complicated there, Ed, and I agree with Eugene. No, the doors weren't closed, I don't think, as tightly as they would like. In fact, I think they may have been widened a little bit. What you saw today was the Romney campaign finally, after what has this now been 2 weeks of just really relentless storytelling by the Obama campaign, try to get in front of the story.
So he's making it worse.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that lag time has allowed a perception to be created and ideas around his wealth and what he's trying to hide and all of that stuff that you don't want to have attached to your campaign at this stage, and now you're trying to get in front of it. I think it's problematic. Can he get around this? Yes. He's going to have to, I think, ultimately release more than 2 years' worth of tax returns. Can he get around it on the Bain side? Yes. But he's going to have to come out a little bit more, as Eugene just said, because you're going to have guys like Eugene and yourself asking the tough question. You're running for president of the United States. We're in tough economic times. We have this battle between wealth and those who don't have wealth. And you've got to stand square somewhere in this. And I think today was the beginning of that, but I think it was a little too late and not enough.
The title of Mitt Romney's last book, and maybe only book, was No Apology. He offered no apology today whatsoever. In fact, there was a tone of arrogance that this is all the tax information you're going to get. Yeah. Eugene Robinson, wouldn't Senator John McCain be able to offer some kind of insight here? Wouldn't he know what's in those tax returns? Seeing that Romney was vetted. What about that, gentleman?
I guess he would. So I think we should all beat a path to McCain's door and see if he remembers what those numbers were. And not just McCain, but others in the campaign who might have seen all those tax returns. And look, Romney says we'll never satisfy the people who want more information, so we're not going down that road. That's one explanation. The other explanation, the other possibility, is that there's stuff in there that he just doesn't want to be seen more widely. And you can believe either of those things until we see some evidence.
Well, Romney says that, he wasn't associated with Bain after 1999. But he says he should get the credit for the jobs that was created by Bain after 1999. Here it is.
Businesses that we helped create and helped start went on to create lots of jobs. So if you're responsible for starting a business and it grows and adds a lot of jobs in the coming years, then I'm happy to point out that my involvement was in helping get that business started.
So Michael Steele, shouldn't he, if he's going to take credit for the jobs created, shouldn't he also get the blame for the layoffs and outsourcing at Bain after 1999?
Well, I'm sure I can count on you for that, Ed, over the next few weeks.
I mean, he can't have it both ways, can he?
But I think, to be fair, and not to split the hair too much here, I think what he was referring to is those companies that he worked with, that while he was there, it didn't stop once he left Bain. Those companies continued to grow and do what they do. So I think that was the reference point. But you do ask a broader, and I think just as important question, that in the narrative of Bain and the perception that all of this has now been glommed together, there is no separation between when you started and when you left. It is all Bain, all Romney. You're going to have to clean it up a little bit better than it's been cleaned up today.
Quick answer, both of you. You first, Mr. Steele. Could this drip all the way to November?
Potentially, yes.
Gene?
I think it could unless he gets a plumber in there fast.
All right. He needs one. I wonder if that'd be a union plumber. Probably not. All right. Michael Steele, Eugene Robinson, thanks for your time today. Appreciate it. Remember to answer tonight's question there at the bottom of the screen. We share your thoughts on Twitter at Ed Show. We want you to do that. And on Facebook, we want to know what you think. Coming up, actress Madeline Stowe will join me and explain why Majority Leader Eric Cantor is bad for America and in trouble. You won't want to miss it. Stay tuned. We're right back.